Is Maureen there?
Hello? Yes, we're here.
Do you want to start?
Sure. Did we have Tom? Did Tom come on? No, I didn't see Tom. Okay.
Tom, and I know Mike was running late. I'm not sure about Tom.
Doesn't matter, we're all hidden right now. I'm not streaming through Zoom. That was the problem. I had to switch over, so we'll be okay for today.
Okay, we're
But you can admit them if you trust them. I don't know who they are.
okay.
They might announce themselves.
Let me know when you're ready to start, Maureen.
Somebody just came in. Who came into the call just now on the phone?
Maureen.
Tom Lloyd?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're ready to start. Jason, when you're ready.
It's there on the agenda page.
Are we waiting for a recording or?
The recording is live. We're on YouTube.
Okay, thank you. Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Monday, June 22nd, 2020 Goshen Central School District Board Meeting. Tonight's board meeting is being held in the district admin building via telephone and YouTube. Due to abundance of caution with regard to the spread of the COVID-19 in accordance with Governor Cuomo's March 12th Executive Order 202.1. Next on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of meditation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next on the agenda is the President's Report. A few things tonight. First and foremost, I'd like to thank our community for your support of our 2020-21 school budget. A special thank you to Maureen Farrell and her team for completing this unprecedented task of all absentee voting. Truly a great job. Thank you, Maureen and team. Also, thank you to John Rediker and Jim Sterrett, who enabled us to live stream this process all the way through 2 o'clock in the morning. Congratulations go out to Tom Mullane and Allison Salte for their re-election to the school board. Also, congratulations to Juan Panetto on his bid for candidacy. There's been many events going on since we last spoke. I was fortunate enough to attend a few of them, including the senior parade through town and through the schools. and the senior barbecue, which was truly curbside delivery. Congrats to all who organized these events, as it seemed to be very well received and attended. Those events I couldn't get to, I was able to watch virtually. Second grade moving up, fifth grade moving up, eighth grade moving up. All those events looked terrific, given the circumstances. If you have time to see them, there is a virtual variety show, and today started virtual scholarships and awards. Truly a great job being done there as well. Congratulations to all the winners. A few things on tonight's agenda. I'd like to point out a special recognition to Patty Capiciamo, as she once again, through her Kids Helping Kids program, is able to donate money to C.J. Hooker and to Goshen High School lunch program for unpaid lunches. I know we've heard about Patty in the past, and I know our board truly appreciates what she does. And I think we should have her come down, when we can have people come down to our meetings again, to share her updates and her stories about her kids and program. Thank you, Mrs. Capiciamo. Also on tonight's agenda is Superintendent Connor's retirement. Tonight is his final meeting as full-time superintendent before he transitions to his interim role for the 2020-21 school year. We definitely have celebration plans with him at a future meeting. But tonight I do want to recognize his truly amazing career in education. I know it spans over 30 years, with the last 11 coming as our superintendent. We as a Board of Education thank you, Superintendent Connor, and we recognize your contribution and dedication to our district. Congratulations. This will lead us into our process of hiring a new superintendent. This process will start in the coming weeks and months. The Board of Education knows the appointment of a superintendent is one of the greatest responsibilities that we have. Earlier this year, we engaged Strategic Educational Advantage, LLC, to assist us in this process. We anticipate our communication with the community to occur through our website, social media, emails, and school messenger. We expect to provide much more detail next month. Next on our agenda is Superintendent Connor's report.
Yes, hi, good evening, everyone, and thank you, President Pucci and members of the Board of Education. I would just like to ditto our president's comments regarding our school budget. Congrats to everyone, and thank you for the community for the outstanding support. Also, congrats go out to our Allison and both Tom in your achieving re-election. Also, too, I know our president has already spoken to the end of the year ceremonies. I, too, had a chance to be at several of those, well, most of those, and I want to congratulate our administrative team and our staff for the great job, and also the wonderful turnout by our students and our parents. So thank you again for those outstanding efforts. Speaking of the class of 2020, please know that, and we have from the very beginning, taken our class advisors and working with 20 plus representatives of the class of 2020 and worked diligently in planning the activities, everything from end of the year awards and scholarships to possible prom to graduation. And one thing the Goshen District has done from the very get-go is they have stretched this out as long as possible. And I think that is a tremendous tribute to them, in that they are able to push graduation to July 31st if necessary. And it looks very good by the way the numbers are coming out from the governor. It seems like every 2 weeks those numbers grow. So let's keep our fingers crossed, and you never know why we could be looking at a full-scale graduation come here July 31st. Once again, be patient as we receive guidance and direction from our governor, why we will continue to make our plans. But I'm pleased with the effort that's been put forth. Letters to our assemblymen, letters to our governor, stressing the importance of the need for a full graduation. It's been an extremely difficult year for our kids that are graduating. Certainly they are, as some have quoted and some have stated, they are the lost class. So those poor kids have really been cheated out of a lot and deserve so much more. So, let's keep our fingers crossed. They're doing a great job. President Pucci also spoke about the class of 2020 scholarships and awards. What a very moving program that was today. You can go on each day on our website and view the winners. Today they did perfect attendance, most improved student awards, and GTA citizenship scholarship awards. Tremendous. Great job by our staff, our administration. I'll tell you, it really tugs at your heart when you see this. And not only are the kids' names announced, but a picture of the graduating seniors being recognized is also flashed across, held for about 3 seconds for each student. So it really is a moving program. So, and that's going to go on for the next 2 weeks. So I'm extremely excited about what lies ahead regarding that. Look forward to seeing it each day. The reopening of school. Once again, I just want to let everyone know who's listening in, and also our Board of Education. This is something that right now there are quadrants, 4 areas in New York State that are reviewing the present situation, trying to pull together some guidelines and plans for what the reopening of school is going to look like. When that is complete or completed, why we will be coming back to each area, and I will have a team of people, and I want to thank the many people that have already volunteered to serve in that committee. And we're going to look to put our plan together and see how that would look. Will that be an easy task? Absolutely not. There are a lot of reservations out there on what opening day will look like or coming back in the fall. This is going to be no easy lift. This is going to require a lot of time and a lot of effort. Next, I'd like to move to something that's taking place tomorrow and the next day. We have several board members participating. We have about 16 members of the high school who will participate, and that's the selection of the high school principal. And we will have 5 interviews tomorrow and 5 on Wednesday. Of those 10 interviews with the committee, I plan to bring 4 names to the Board of Education. Really at this time, and I'm not sure if you'd like to talk about it, President Pucci, but I should have those 4 names hopefully Thursday morning after I had a discussion with the committee. And, I'm thinking maybe a week from today. I don't know how that sets with the board, but I would like to have the 4 candidates, if possible, that some way, be it in person or the way we're doing it now, the board meet those 4 candidates with myself, and we get a good look at them, ask them questions, get a good feel for them, and then hopefully at our July 6th meeting, why we can make an appointment. But President Pucci, do you have any thoughts regarding a week from today on the 29th?
Yeah, Superintendent, I think if you're comfortable with that date, I think we could do that if the board is available. I'm available that night. We can canvass the board right now. Martha, are you available?
Yes, I am.
Judy?
Yes.
Allison?
Yes.
Jeremy?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes, but can we do it in person?
Yeah, I think with the plan with Superintendent Connor, I think what he's alluding to is doing it in person, socially distanced, following all the protocols. Is that correct, Superintendent Connor?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Very good.
yeah, I think we'll try to do it that way. Is Mike on the call yet?
Yes. So thanks, Tom, for bringing that up. In person would be great. Thank you.
And yes, I think we can do that, Superintendent Connor, if you want to put that out and arrange it.
I will. I'll have more information for the board on Thursday morning after I've met with the committee on Wednesday afternoon. Plan to have a half hour, 45-minute conversation with them and get a sense or feeling on how they feel about the candidates. And I should be able to report back to you and the board. I'll give you a call first thing Thursday morning and let you know where we're at with that. But thank you for your help with that. That means a lot. And that's pretty much it on my end. Just want to thank the board once again for all your efforts, and also the GTA and all the groups who really went out and worked extremely hard on the passing of this budget. And, last but not least, certainly, I tuned in, and of course, President Pucci, you and I were talking to each other at 2:20 in the morning when it ended. But I want to thank Maureen Farrell. There are several districts, one you've heard about, one you haven't heard about, but have had major issues and problems with sorting through the results. This process was so well organized, and I mean, it's all to Maureen. Maureen did a tremendous job. She deserves all the credit, but her committee of workers were outstanding. Actually, I thought at 11:30, and I finally called Jim Starrett. I said, "Are we just on rewind here? Are they really still counting?" And he said, "Absolutely." And it's going to be a long time. So I know I couldn't sleep. It was great to get the results, but it made for a very short night. But it was great coming to work on Monday. And I thank the community once again for their support, and certainly everyone on the board. So that concludes my report, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Connor.
Hey, Jason, it's Allison. Can I just ask Dan a real quick question?
Absolutely.
Just with the quadrants, can you just elaborate on what quadrant we're in so that the public knows?
We were in the Hudson Valley quadrant, and there were about 250 participants. And when I listened in today, we had our 3:00 meeting with superintendents, Black, and several of the other people reported out, and they just said it's quite a task, but it went extremely well. There'll be tremendous feedback that they will be sharing with us. I believe their next meeting, this is for the board and the community, will be on Wednesday of this week. And I think they might even be meeting again next week, but each day, probably in the next update I will get from Bill Heck. And Bill Heck, by the way, is our BOE Superintendent, will be on Wednesday. But he said for the first day, for the amount of people involved and the number, they broke it up into committees, and he thought things went really well. But they're just going to provide some general guidelines, and then it'll be up to each district and their team to see how those guidelines fit within their district. So what I plan to do is I have a very good relationship with many of our Orange County superintendents. We will work closely because all of us are going to be affected the same way and have the same impact. So my team, along with what I get and feedback from, over at Minnesink, down at Warwick, Florida, Chester, Washingtonville, will certainly play into, and I'll be able to share that information with our committee. But I'm really looking forward to that. As I've often told our president, it's another hill to climb, but we're ready for it. And we want to make sure that when we return on open day, we've got all our ducks in line. It's going to include everyone, buildings and grounds, transportation, cafeteria, you name it. There's no group certainly that will be left out. So our special ed, our regular ed, our GTA president is definitely involved. So I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be a challenging, very challenging task, but I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be fun.
Okay. And is there a deadline from the state stating when you need to give that proposal or what your thoughts are?
And you know what? That's a great question. I'm glad you bring that up. Mid-August, we must submit. I believe it's by August 15th. All our plans have to go every district to Albany. I'm not sure what they're going to do with them up there, but
Okay.
700 districts, and that's a lot of plans. And sometimes somebody has trouble just reviewing the run-of-the-mill information. But we'll definitely get it done. I've had tremendous response from the various groups, teachers calling me, school nurses, buildings and grounds, many of our residents. I'm just excited about the committee itself, and I think it's going to bring about some really interesting results. So looking forward to it.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, you're welcome. See you tomorrow morning.
Yes.
Next on the agenda is the Assistant Superintendent for Business Report, Louise Lynch.
Good evening. I just wanted to give you all a little bit of an update of what's going on in the business office. We are in the beginning stages of our Nugent and Hausler external audit, which is for the fiscal year, which ends this June 30th. And we're having interviews already, and you can expect those letters that ask you a number of questions. They go to the board, the administration, the staff, and they want to affirm that we have appropriate safeguards and protocols in place and prevent against any kind of lack of segregation of duty. Additionally, we've got a lot to wrap up for an unusual school year, to say the least. Lots of different challenges this year. Things, we're looking at purchasing PPE equipment, and we're responding to things that we learn every couple of weeks. But so I can say, it's an exciting time, but I'm looking forward to the new normal. I think as many of you are as well. Let's see, one other thing I wanted to just comment on. It seems to be a reoccurring theory, but I want to resonate the gratitude for the overwhelming support of the budget, because this allows us to move forward. And I know, as we all know, it's a month behind schedule. So we were kind of anxious, the school year's about to end and a new one beginning. This allows us the time to be looking at, what our needs are and really getting prepared for that. So it's a busy time in the business office, and I'm grateful that my staff is working very hard. And that's all I have to report. Oh, and congratulations, of course, to Allison and Tom as well. Don't know if there are any questions.
The only thing, Louise, this is Jason. Action items tonight, 7, 8, and 9 are for reserves.
Yes.
I just wanted to point out, and you confirm that the numbers in those actions have language in it referring to up to. Doesn't mean we'll be putting those numbers in there, but depending on how the balances break out towards the end of the year or at the end of the year, we have language using up to those numbers.
Yes, and that's a very important distinction to have made, because at this time, again, a very unprecedented year, we don't know exactly what we're going to have left. So obviously, given some of my concerns, and I hope you've all had a chance to read it. I know it really just went out today. But so, for example, unemployment reserve, this is a time where we have no idea what that may look like, because things are changing on a every couple of week basis. But so, there's things happening. I think you all know this, but we are on the direct reimbursement method for unemployment, which differs greatly from private business. Private business pay a percentage of the wages. School districts pay for every claim that comes in. And right now, as many of you probably are aware, there's the additional $600 a week in addition to the weekly unemployment. So if we normally have maybe 5 people, people who are collecting unemployment, it's really probably about $25,000 a year we spend on that. Now we're in a position where, any sub that's not working can claim unemployment, and it's not just the normal amount. So it's exponentially worse, and we don't know how long this will go on. But so a lot of those reserves are in there with a higher limit, specifically so we can plan once we know what we have left. And I'm happy to field any questions on those as well.
Louise, Martha, I would
Hi, Martha.
just like to say that I'm a person that loves reserve accounts. And the fact that we're looking ahead for unemployment, capital reserve, and retirement, I think that's an excellent approach. And thank you for your leadership in that.
Thank you.
Hi,
Thank you,
this
Louise.
is Mike. Just
Mike, go
real
ahead.
quick. So isn't the $600 supposed to end next month? The additional?
Well, I've heard mixed
They have not
theories
passed
on that.
anything.
Yeah, I've heard mixed theories on that. And of course, I don't want you to think that, you know my style. If there's a stone to be turned over, I'm hoping that $600, even though we're going to pay it initially, I'm hoping that we're going to be able to submit a claim under FEMA and that will be made whole with federal dollars. But I haven't seen any legislation or anything black and white about that. But I do hear it's supposed to end in July, but as I've seen with many of COVID things, they're extended when it gets a little closer. So Mike, you are correct in what you've understood, and I'm just being my normal conservative self so that we know worst case scenario. But I hope you're right.
Good and bad, bittersweet.
Yeah, I mean, people have needed that, but it's tough on school districts when we want to be really focused on educational programming.
Agreed. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is the Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum, Instruction, Personnel, and Technology, Mr. Jason Carter.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much, Mr. Pucci. So tonight I'd like to talk briefly about the proposal that you were presented with earlier this week regarding remote learning, online learning platforms, tools, and content providers. I'd like to thank Jonathan Redeker and Jim Sterrett for working diligently with me, speaking with multiple vendors, including OU BOCES. What we did here was to try to put together a very comprehensive list of platforms and tools that will help us to be better prepared in the event of the need for remote learning in September. Also, this will allow us to use these tools and platforms for our extended school year with our special education program throughout the summer months. And we feel that even without the need for remote learning, this also helps us to provide what would be considered a very well-rounded program throughout the school year if it is brick and mortar as well. So we put together the list for you to look at with brief descriptions. I think as you go through, you will notice that they do improve content delivery. We did focus on communication to make that a little bit easier for everyone, and also added in some assessment tools. And all of these would be utilized, of course, in conjunction with what currently exists in our district, including but not limited to our digital textbook. And remember that the Google G Suite for Education is our primary means of delivery. So what you have in front of you, in my opinion, is everything that we would need to reach every student and to provide the best that we can in correlation with our synchronous learning as we prepare for the summer months and, more importantly, September. Anyone have any questions about the proposal? I would like to mention that we did go through just based on some good deals that were made available to us earlier. Late March, early April, we were able to purchase 2 tools that we wanted for a 2-year deal, a two-year agreement. And now with these 11 programs that are proposed, we're in good shape here, and only 4 are not on BOCES COSA agreements. So I just wanted to point that out because that's always to our benefit to utilize the COSA agreements through BOCES.
How many are these all new programs, Mr. Carter?
So the majority of the programs we utilized during the COVID-19 closure beginning in March, and we did add a good amount to that original list. Those that were on the continuity of learning plan that was submitted to NICEAD, of course, we continued with because they were major content providers. It allowed us to provide differentiated instruction. It allowed us to focus on leveled literacy, especially in the elementary level. And it also allowed us to provide content in multiple languages. So those are still on there. And then knowing that, you really do need multiple tools to provide quality remote learning, we picked out tools that will allow us to put together a content-rich lesson and then, offer further videos, annotations, multiple means of communication, multiple modes of communication to present quality lessons. So this list is certainly, it's certainly well-rounded and will allow us to do those things.
And are these services, are these like yearly subscriptions or just purchase and insurance?
Yeah. So everything that is presented in the proposal will go on 1-year contract agreements. The 2 initials that we did not put on this proposal because we had already purchased them were 2-year agreements. Some of the vendors that are on your proposal after year 1, there's a steep discount for year 1. And if you choose to go with a year 2, if you choose to go with a year 3, each year thereafter, the percentage discount becomes a little less, and so on. So right now we're really looking to have everything on board for 2020-21, and then we can certainly revisit this based on the situation that we are presented with mid-year. It's also important to know that we focused a lot of our attention to professional development in the realm of the Google G Suite at the beginning, and it was just a continuation of what we had been doing, but we really ramped it up again due to the closure. We will continue to do that utilizing the vouchers for the Google Level 1 and Level 2 that we had previously purchased. But in working with Jonathan Redeker throughout the summer months, our plan is to secure what we have here in this proposal and focus largely on our professional development offerings to help everyone to fully understand how to utilize the tools made available to them. So we do have a larger plan here. The proposal and the acquisition of these programs and tools really is step 1 for us. They are also all vetted for, the quality that they provide, and also they are all EdLaw 2D compliant, which is huge for us.
You kind of addressed my follow-up, which would have been, I don't know if you want to expand on it, which would be the professional development, because that's kind of really the key here, right, going forward, to try to make them more comfortable and get them up to speed as far as remote learning, because we're going to be faced with these issues going forward.
Sure. So, of course, as you just mentioned, the assumption is that, in some way, shape, or form, there's going to be a need for remote learning. And our goal here is to make sure that everyone is A, aware of what we're bringing on board as far as tools and platforms, and B, to be very comfortable and to know exactly how to use them and get the most out of them. So I can tell you that, Jonathan Redeker and I, along with Jim Sterrett and Dr. Voloshin, we talk constantly about programs as far as EdLaw 2D compliance, as far as the quality and the vetting process. And Jonathan and I have worked tirelessly, and Jonathan has presented many, many high quality professional developments. So he is already aware, and we've had multiple discussions already about the professional developments that we will develop and offer as soon as we acquire these programs. So we have a larger plan to continue to run these professional development opportunities throughout the summer. We will do absolutely as much as we can, running groups that are as large enough to reach the goal of helping everyone to get comfortable, to really understand the programs, but also for the groups to be manageable in size so that the quality is not affected. But we will continue to offer these throughout the summer months, and hopefully, through proper communication and quality advertisement, if you will, we'll get our faculty and staff members hooked in and participating in the professional development opportunities that will be offered. Everything will be placed on My Learning Plan, or rather Oasis, so that everybody is aware. And of course, we'll send out the group emails that are necessary through the principals and our offices down in central office to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to get involved with professional development.
Thank you, Mr. Carter. I look forward to the updates through the summer.
Excuse me, Jason, I have a question.
Sure, Tom.
Jason, all these programs, all these remote learning, everything's available in Spanish also, I'm assuming?
Almost all of what we have is available in Spanish, primarily for content. Castle Learning has provided us with the opportunity to present in multiple languages and the ability to differentiate. So, we need our teachers to be familiar with not just one, but multiple platforms here that we're offering so that we can make sure to reach every learner and to meet their individual and unique needs. And that's a huge part of what we try to do throughout the original COVID-19 closure. And it's a very large part in what we look to do at all times moving forward. So to answer your question, yes, there is multiple language available. However, not every single platform allows for that or offers that, rather.
Thank you. But in the other platforms, how are we going to address that?
So, if you think about, let's just say E&L, the E&L providers will be aware of the platforms that allow them to translate, if necessary, into native language. However, most of what we do, short of those that we know that are speaking maybe primarily Spanish or another language, we can reach them even in English with the proper supports that we have. So through our professional developments that we develop here, we should be able to get everybody situated to provide exactly what is needed. And I'm imagining that, as we move forward, there may be needs that pop up, and through proper communication, we should be able to address those as well.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further questions? I think you're off the hook. Thank you, Mr. Carter.
I just want to thank you for your consideration. We really appreciate it and look forward to moving forward. Thank you.
Next on the agenda is the consent agenda. I need a motion.
So move. Judy?
Judy?
Yes.
Mike?
Tom, second.
I got Mike, I think, first. Mike on a second.
Yes. Sorry, Tom.
Thank you. Be it resolved, the Board of Education accepts the retirement of Daniel T. Connor, Superintendent of Schools. Mr. Connor has been with the district for 11 years. He will serve as interim superintendent of schools for the 2020-21 school year. Be it resolved, the Board of Education accepts the retirement of Catherine Russo, special education teacher aide, effective July 1st, 2020. Ms. Russo has been with the district for 21 years. Be it resolved, the Board of Education accepts the retirement of Elizabeth Koricki, school bus driver, effective June 19, 2020. Ms. Koricki has been with the district for 17 years. Be resolved, Roger Kratt, school bus driver, effective July 1st, 2020. The Board of Education accepts his retirement. Mr. Kratt has been with the district for 22 years. Be it further resolved, upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Board of Education approves the remainder of the consent agenda as presented. Do a roll call. Martha?
Yes.
Judy?
Yes.
Allison?
Yes.
Jeremy?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes. And I just want to say, Dan, thank you so much for everything you've done for this district. I mean, you at the pinnacle of it, you got this awesome capital project in, and I think you did a really great job. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you, Mike.
everyone.
And Jason, yes. There is no old business. Next on the agenda is new business. 8.1. I need a motion for approval of minutes and transcription of the June 2nd, 2020 meeting and June 9th, 2020 vote.
So move, Martha.
Martha?
Second, Tom.
Second, Tom. Be it resolved upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Board of Education approves a draft of the minutes and transcription for the June 2nd, 2020 board meeting and June 9th, 2020 annual district meeting of the qualified voters of Goshen Central School District for budget vote and board member election. Roll call. Martha?
Yes.
Judy?
Yes.
Allison?
Yes.
Jeremy?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Jason, yes. Next on agenda is 8.2. Award bid for uniforms, mats, and mops, service and supply. I need a motion?
I make the motion.
Jeremy?
Second, Judy.
Second, Judy. Thank you. Be it resolved upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Board of Education awards a bid number RFB-BG0005-20 and contract for uniforms, mats, and mops, service and supply rental effective August 1st, 2020 through July 31st, 2021 to Ulster Uniform Service, Inc., 541 Broadway, Kingston, New York, 12401, as per bid specification and prices submitted in their bid of June 11, 2020, which will be in the official minutes. Roll call. Martha?
Yes.
Judy?
Yes.
Allison?
Yes.
Jeremy?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Jason, yes. 8.3. I need a motion for authorization to accept donation from Kids Helping Kids and increase the budget. CJ Hooker.
So move.
Judy. Thank you.
I second it.
Second, Jeremy. Be it resolved, upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Board of Education accepts a donation of $2,700 from Kids Helping Kids for CJ Hooker Middle School for the purpose of paying down student debt on unpaid school lunches. The $2,007 shall be placed in revenue code account code C2705. Be it further resolved, upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Board of Education accepts a donation of $119 from Kids Helping Kids for Goshen High School for the purpose of erasing student debt on unpaid school lunches. The $119 shall be placed in revenue account code C2705. Roll call. Martha?
Yes.
Judy?
Yes.
Allison?
Yes.
Jeremy?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Jason, yes. 8.4, I need a motion for approved bus bond resolution for 2020-21.
I make the motion.
Jeremy,
Tom, second.
Tom, second. Okay, I'm not reading this whole thing. I'll be reading the beginning, section 1, 2, and section 8. Bond resolution dated June 22nd, 2020. A resolution authorizing the issuance of $680,999 bonds of the Goshen Central School District, Orange County, New York, to pay the cost of the purchase of the school buses for said school district. Whereas at the annual district meeting of the qualified voters of Goshen Central School District, Orange County, New York, a proposition was duly adopted authorizing the purchase of school buses at an aggregate maximum estimated cost of $680,999, and providing for the levy of a tax, therefore, to be collected in installments with obligations of said school district to be issued in anticipation thereof, and whereas is now desired to provide for the financing thereof. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the affirmative vote of not less than 2/3 of the total voting strength of the Board of Education of the Goshen Central School District, Orange County, New York, as follows. Section 1, the purchase of 4 66-passenger school buses at a maximum estimated cost of $111,250 each. 3 30-passenger school buses at a maximum estimated cost of $55,333 each, and 1 wheelchair bus at a maximum estimated cost of $70,000 for the Goshen Central School District, Orange County, New York, including incidental expenses in connection therewith, is hereby authorized at a total maximum estimated cost of $680,999. Section 2. The plan for the financing of such objects or purposes consists of the issuance of $680,999 bonds of said school district, which are hereby authorized to be issued, therefore, pursuant to the provisions of the local finance law. Such bonds are to be payable from amounts which shall annually be levied on all taxable real property in said school district, and the faith and credit of said school district are hereby pledged for the payment of said bonds and the interest thereon. Section 3, 4, 6, 7, I don't see a section 5. Oh, section 5, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, as presented. Section 8, this resolution, which takes effect immediately, shall be published in summary form in the official newspaper of said school district for such purpose, together with a notice of the school district clerk, substantially in the form provided in Section 81 of the local finance law. Roll call. Martha?
Yes.
Judy?
Yes.
Allison?
Yes.
Jeremy?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Jason, yes. $8.5, the motion for approve the budgetary transfer for remote learning programs and tools. Mr. Carter's presentation.
I make the motion that.
Is that Jeremy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Second, Martha.
Jeremy and Martha, thank you. Be it resolved upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Board of Education approves the budgetary transfer dated June 22nd, 2020, in the amount of $168,709.26 to purchase programs and tools to support remote learning in preparation for the 2020-21 school year and during the summer extended school year program for students with individualized education plans. Roll call. Martha.
Yes.
Judy.
Yes.
Allison.
Yes.
Jeremy.
Yes.
Tom.
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Jason, yes. 8.6, we have an addendums. We have 8.6, 7, 8, and 9. Approve extension of appointment of interim principal at Goshen High School. Any motion?
So move.
Judy.
Second, Martha.
Second, Martha. Be it resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board agrees to extend the appointment of Thomas Heinzelman to serve as the district's interim principal of Goshen High School at a salary of $800 per day for 3 days per week in the district, effective July 6, 2020 through the conclusion of the 2020 graduation ceremony, which will take place on or about July 31st, 2020. Roll call. Martha.
Yes.
Judy.
Yes.
Allison.
Yes.
Jeremy.
Yes.
Tom.
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Jason, yes. 8.7. This is the first of the reserves that Louise talked about. I need a motion to approve increase in unemployment reserve.
I make that motion, Jay.
I got Jeremy and second Tom or Mike. Who was that?
Mike.
Second on Mike.
Second.
Jeremy and Mike. Thank you. 8.7. Be it resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education hereby appropriates a sum of $50,000 to up to $150,000, depending on the availability of funds, to the unemployment reserve from the 2019-20 unappropriated fund balance in the general fund, and authorizes the transfer of such monies from the general fund to the unemployment reserve. Roll call. Martha.
Yes.
Judy.
Yes.
Allison.
Yes.
Jeremy.
Yes.
Tom.
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Jason. Yes. 8.8 is the second reserve. This is the capital. Need to approve increase to capital reserve. I need a motion?
So move. Judy.
Judy.
Second, Martha.
Second, Martha. Thank you. Be it resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education hereby appropriates a sum of up to $2 million, depending on the availability of funds, to the capital reserve from the 2019-2020 unappropriated fund balance in the general fund, and authorizes the transfer of such monies from the general fund to the capital reserve. Roll call. Martha.
Yes.
Judy.
Yes.
Allison.
Yes.
Jeremy.
Yes.
Tom.
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Jason, yes. 9.9, the last of the reserves. Approve. I need a motion to approve increase to retirement contribution reserve.
Move, Martha.
Martha.
Second, Jeremy.
Second, Jeremy. Thank you. Be it resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education hereby appropriates a sum of up to $750,000, depending on the availability of funds, to the retirement contribution reserve from the 2019-2020 unappropriated fund balance in the general fund and authorizes the transfer of such monies from the general fund to the retirement contribution reserve. Roll call. Martha.
Yes.
Judy.
Yes.
Allison.
Yes.
Jeremy.
Yes.
Tom.
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Jason, yes. Any discussion? Everybody received the agenda items for the reorg. Do we have any questions regarding or any discussion? July 6th. The only thing I will say is it is our goal to host that in person. I don't think we'll be allowing public in at that point yet, but hopefully the board can get together in person and stream out from the boardroom. That is the goal. I think we'll get a good feel for that. If Superintendent Connor is good with having us meet the 4 principal candidates on June 29th, I think that could be a good trial run for us to see how we can space out down there too. Next on the agenda is board member issues. I'll go down a roll call here. Martha?
Well, I'm on the 30th. I will be attending the OXPA meeting. It's the annual meeting. We'll have we're going to kind of have a discussion group, I guess. It was kind of a loose agenda, but I will be attending, and then I'll report back at our next meeting.
Thank you, Martha.
Oh, and also, I loved the 5th grade parade and the senior parade with the cars. It was just really nice. The community was involved, obviously the police and firemen, and it made a wonderful event for the 5th graders and for our seniors.
Thank you, Martha. I totally agree. Judy?
Yes, a couple of things. First of all, I'd like to take this opportunity to congratulate Allison and Tom for their reelection. That's really great. And to thank the administrative team for all their work on putting together the budget under such dire circumstances and so forth. And we're all thrilled, of course, that it passed. But I know there was a lot of work that had to go into that. And lastly, I would like to reiterate what Mr. Connor had to say about Maureen, and can't thank her enough for what went on here Tuesday night. I mean, that was just beyond anything I could imagine. And I don't imagine she slept too well the night before. But thanks very much, Maureen, for all your work.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Judy. Allison?
Hi, I have just a few items, and I don't need an answer right away, but it's just some things that I've been thinking about. I wanted to say thank you to Jonathan Redeker. He gave us like a summary or an assessment of what he thought, went well, what he could continue to do with remote learning. And I'm sure that there is something out there, but I'd like to see other members, including staff, teachers, principals, all the directors, all the different areas. Just a quick summary to see like what happened, what went wrong, what can we improve on, thoughts, recommendations for the future. And I know Jason Carter, you just talked a little bit about the continuing ed for teachers, because that was kind of on my list too, like, noting some of the teachers that might need more remote learning tools and techniques. So thank you for that. Another thing that I was thinking about is our CTEC and BOCE students. Just curious if some of those students have slipped through the cracks, because obviously their curriculum is a lot more hands-on. So hoping to see something about those students. The third thing is kindergarten screening. I haven't heard an update about that, and I was just curious about how that's being handled. And again, noting that a lot of my questions really, we might not have an answer until we actually hand something in August. And then the fourth thing is if there can be some consideration and maybe there's talks about this already, but consideration given to once we go back, and again, we don't know what that'll look like, but if they are actually in the classroom, if there's a way to recreate the previous class. So for instance, our kindergartners and first graders who are now first and second graders, if there is one class period devoted to them being with their previous teacher and their friends and students just to say goodbye from the previous year. I know that that's difficult with like our second graders that are now in a different building, as well as fifth in another building and eighth in another building. But if there's any consideration to that, I would love to see that help happen for their social and mental well-being. And I think that's it. And again, thank you to everybody for all your hard work and for always answering any of my emails and questions. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Allison. Jeremy?
I'm good, Jay. Thanks.
Thank you, Jeremy. Tom?
First, thank you very much for all the congratulations from everybody for Allison and myself. I know we're both glad to be around for another 3 years. Dan, thanks for everything. I know you're not quite leaving yet, but you know we all appreciate the hard work you do. Maureen, you are incredible. You were even there on Sunday. I saw your car there, so thank you for everything. And the last thing, I'd really like to push to get back to in-person meetings as soon as possible. I know we are thinking about the next meeting in July, the reorg meeting in person, but I would really like to see us figure out a way to meet in person. Just the discussions just are not the same by phone. I think everyone will agree to that. And it also makes it very difficult to get our points across and to hear everybody out. So I would like to see that happen as soon as possible, and that's about it.
Thank you, Tom. Mike?
Yeah, I just want to echo Tom's sentiment about, in-person meetings. It's, we're kind of losing touch, I feel, with what makes us really strong as a board. Being together, I think, kind of helps us with our decisions and other things, and just that, simple human touch and discussion between each other face to face with masks, if necessary, or 6 feet apart would, I think, just help in general. And again, Maureen, it was like midnight and I'm watching this and you're running around back and forth between tables. I'm like, I'm going to bed because I don't know when this thing is going to end. But great job on that. And thank you. You're awesome.
You're very welcome.
And myself, this usually would be the one of the most exciting weeks of the school year leading up to graduation. So I'd like to keep the senior class 2020 in our thoughts. We understand how much they've missed out on, and to the parents of the 2020 class, rest assured that the Board of Education, the administration, we're doing everything we possibly can to make it the best possible experience at this point. And I think our plan's working as far as holding out, and our hope is to have a full graduation at the end of July. As far as the other board members' in-person meetings request, I think we've been all on the same page there. Personally, it's a lot easier to run a meeting in person than over the phone. So I'm all for it. That's why the goal is to get to July 6th. That would be phase 4 too from the governor. So I think we can, at this point, comfortably say we'll be there in person July 6th. And I think, like I said earlier, June 29th, maybe it would be a nice little, dry run for us. Just make sure we can do it. I think the issue I was brought up with Maureen is microphones. We'll probably still have to live stream it to make sure that everybody can be heard during the live stream. So I think we're working on that as well. I think that's all I have for tonight. I need a motion to close the meeting.
Oh, motion to close, Tom.
Tom?
Motion, Mike.
Motion seconded by Mike. I'll do a last roll call for tonight. Martha?
Yes.
Judy?
Yes.
Allison?
Yes.
Jeremy? Jeremy? You, maybe? Tom?
Yes.
Yep, we got
Yes.
Jeremy and Tom. Mike?
Yes.
And Jason, yes. This concludes the meeting for tonight. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the Board of Education, our administrative team for being on the line, and we appreciate the community listening as well. Everybody have a safe and healthy night. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.